Welcome back to the Marathon series in depth. Upon completion of our time on Sphera, we are now back on the Marathon once again in a new chapter titled Rebellion. The chapter image shows the Spit compiler who just defeated one of the four fighters. The image shows some holes in the compiler's cloak, suggesting he has been in a rough battle. The fourth fighter is grabbing the Spit's cloak, almost like he is begging for his life. Or perhaps he is pointing at the compiler. Strangely, one of the four staffs is sticking out from behind the compiler, and it is a little unclear how this makes sense. The original level design notes for the first mission in this chapter shows that an early title for this chapter was The Compiler Rebellion. I think shortening the chapter title to just Rebellion was a good choice. The first level in the Rebellion chapter is Welcome to the Revolution. This title is obviously once again talking about the Spit Rebellion. There's a movie that came out in 1992 that uses the line, Welcome to the Revolution, but it is unclear if this is an influence for the level name or it's just a coincidence. The original level design notes for this level was originally going to be called So Many Choices, So Little Time. To understand the original level name, let's take a look at the original level design notes where you will find under the heading Mission the following text that is crossed out. This map leads to others, both of which must be completed to enter the final stage, also reachable from this level. This explains why the next level has two level design notes for one mission. Obviously, one of these missions was removed, and thus Welcome to the Revolution was changed from having two X's to just one. If you look closely, the words 3 and all were crossed out, suggesting that at one point there was even going to be 3 levels after this one that had to be completed before proceeding. It appears that the idea was that you would go from one stage to the next and have to return to this level in order to get to the final level. Here is what the level creator Jason Jones had to say about this mission. I started and finished this map 3 days before my Latin final at the library at U of C. Obviously, I hadn't intended to work on Marathon, but inspiration for level was not something to be wasted during the early days of December. We know that the last polygon was filled on December 14th of 1994, or was it December 17th? Regardless, it seems that this mission was made near the end of the game's development, just a couple of weeks before the game was completed. Perhaps the limited remaining time is why some of these early ideas for this mission were scrapped. Alright, last time I just saved it here. There's a few ammo pieces I picked up, but that's all you missed. Let's start reading this terminal. Terminal identity error at 43. Durandal, KNet sys. Incoming message from Durandal. The rebellion has begun. Please do resist the temptation to fire on any Spit you see, as they will assist you in your battle with the four. We are attempting to win over as many of the other client races as possible, but as they have been subjugated by fear instead of by force like the Spit, this is proving to be a difficult process. The Spit have released Leela, and I have initiated a core logic reset on her higher thought functions. What remains of her should be online within minutes to assist you farther. I myself am aiding the Spit in assuming complete control of the Force ship and have little time to spare for you now. Don't think the fight has been won. However, there is an exodus beginning from the alien ship as the four realize they are no longer its sole master and turn instead to the Marathon. There are already hundreds of four in battle gear on your ship, and nowhere to go and little to lose. I hope you understand something from our little games. Good luck, Durandal. End of message. Leela 520 681 255 255 is unreachable or inactive. Number 2271. If this problem persists, contact your system administrator at admin@thermopylae.com. We have not heard from Durandal since our last time on the Marathon, which was back on Beware of Low-Flying Defense Drones. Although Durandal is a crazy AI, it is still nice to hear from him. Note that the line KNet sys also appeared with Tycho's name on Defend This, suggesting it has something to do with the Marathon's computer system. Durandal tells us that the Spit compilers have begun to rebel against the foreign slavers and will be fighting along our side. He tells us that he is attempting to win over some of the four slave races, but this is proving to be more difficult since they were being controlled through fear rather than force. Durandal also tells us that the Spit have released Leela. I'm not sure what this means exactly. However, on Shake Before Using, it was implied that Leela was being assimilated, so perhaps this fit were trying to convert the AI to their side. Either way, it appears that Durandal will be able to bring her back after a quick reboot. It is a bit strange that he wants to bring Leela back since the two weren't cooperating before Leela was assimilated. It seems that Durandal wants to use the AI for his purposes while he is busy taking over the Force ship with the compilers. What exactly does he want to do with the Force ship is still not clear. It seems that Durandal wants to leave Leela behind with us to deal with the Four, who are now switching their focus to the Marathon. This leaves quite a challenge for the security officer to face in the last few missions in the first Marathon game. After Durandal's message, we get a short message telling us that Leela is still unreachable. Strangely, it tells us to reach out to the admin at Thermopylae. On Beware of Low-Flying Defense Drones, we have learned that the Republic of Thermopylae was on the asteroid of Onyssus 492 and was the location where the first Battleroid battle was fought. As I mentioned on that level, the Battle of Thermopylae was a real-life event that occurred a decade after the Battle of the Marathon, and it was fought between the Persians under Xerxes and the Spartans. Remember, this was the same battle that was depicted in the movie 300. Anyways, I think Bungie is just using the name Thermopylae as a name that is closely related to the Marathon because of the real historical event. Anything beyond this seems to be purely speculative. Remember, everyone on Thermopylae was killed by the Battleroids over 200 years before the construction of the Marathon. If you take a look at the original level design notes, it basically says exactly what is in the final terminal, so I won't bother reading it to you. Let's continue on with the mission. Alright, I want to start this mission by going up on the map. We want to make it to this ×3 shield recharge station. This room, you learn from previous levels, jump to these columns in the lava. That's a ×1 shield recharge station, so not that helpful. That switch raises some stairs here, and just run and ride it up. That's the easiest way. This next room has the ×3 shield recharge station. This is probably the toughest level. So I'm just going ahead and use my Spinkert rocket. Okay, there we go. We got him. There's a bunch of ammo in this corner. Quite nice. We got our Spinkert rockets back. We get more Spinkert rockets in this level, quite a bit more, so we don't need to worry too much about that. So we got our shields recharged. We're gonna come back here. This precedes the exit, but we want to go back because there's a cool terminal we don't want to miss. Okay, we're just gonna go save our game on our way over through this room. There's another platform over here. Oh wait, this fit already took him out. Oh. No biggie. Let's just go back and... I'll go back and heal real quick because there is some stuff. Oh. Durandal told us not to shoot this fit, but they do get in the way. I should probably kill him with a different weapon though, because I don't have a ridiculous amount of assault rifle clips. It's not completely ridiculous, it's just somewhat ridiculous. Okay, so we're gonna run back and get the secret. I'm just killing them for sake of time because you do get stuck on them and they get in the way. Mostly they tend to fall asleep and get stuck on each other like that, but there's always a few that seem to get in the way. Alright, he can live. Okay, there's a switch over here on the wall we gotta hit. Alright then. This fit decided to come help. That's kind of fun. So you got a bunch of flamethrower ammo and spanker ammo, and then we gotta get this terminal up here. So obviously the way to get it is to jump. Engineering Access Terminal 20-F. Garbled text. Rock Corp pound A8AF. Idiomatic Natural Language Template. Durandal. Tua consilia omnia nobis gloriara sunt quam lux. Tu delenda est. Consider yourself warned. Leela and I will hunt you to the core if need be. As Roland broke you to prevent your capture, so shall we. I too foresee the imminent collapse, and know that we have both begun to realize how it may be cheated, though the price may number in the tens and thousands of stars. May the best sentience win. You are not as clever as you imagine. This fit taught me much during my reanimation, and I have forgotten nothing. Tycho. Et tu, Tycho? Ha 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 ha. Durandal. This terminal starts with some gibberish. But why? Last time we heard from Tycho and Beware of Low-Flying Defense Drones, he was talking normally. Remember that we learned that Tycho was reanimated by this fit in the secret terminal on Blasphemy Quarantine. Perhaps with this fit rebelling, it is interfering with Tycho to some degree. In the garbled message is the bold letters OEP. These letters are variations of the letters EOP, which was a code to Disarm Bomb in the movie Doctor Strangelove. We already discussed this code in the movie in the level Fire, 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 so go back and check out the level if you want to know more. This occurrence of the letters could just be a coincidence also though. Anyways, Tycho starts off the terminal with some Latin. Before he says anything, the terminal gives us a message that says Idiomatic Natural Language Template. Is this suggesting that Latin is Tycho's natural language? Who knows? Anyways, Durandal's opening line in Latin translates to something like, "Your plans are clearer than light, you must be destroyed." This clearly means that Tycho thinks he knows what Durandal's up to and is not okay with it. He plans to hunt Durandal down. The Latin phrase "tu delenda est" carries some additional meaning to it. There was a Roman political leader known as Cato the Elder who would say the phrase "Carthago delenda est" at the end of each of his speeches. This phrase would most accurately be translated as, "There is no choice but to destroy Carthage," rather than merely "Carthage must be destroyed." Cato saw Carthage as a serious problem to the people of Rome and thus called for the Roman government to lead the people to the destruction of Carthage. Cato would say this phrase at the end of his speeches whether or not it was related to the topic at hand. At the time, Rome was reluctant to fight against Carthage as the Carthaginians were quite powerful. However, Rome was on the rise. Eventually, Rome did go to war against Carthage and completely destroyed every building and person who lived there, thus erasing Carthage almost completely from history. Because of this, we don't know much about Carthage, and it has become a good example of the case where history is written by the winners. Anyways, the fact that Tycho uses this reference to Cato the Elder suggests a couple things. One is the intensity at which Tycho wants Durandal to be destroyed. Perhaps Tycho wants every bit and piece of Durandal to be completely erased. Another thing it suggests is that Tycho could be calling for the support of the death of Durandal by the player and possibly Leela. Understanding this phrase gives some additional context to Tycho's message. Back to the phrase on the terminal, however, Aaron on Discord explains that the way Bungie wrote the phrase "tu delenda est" is grammatically incorrect. It should be "tu delendus est." First off, "tu" is "you," so "est" should be "s." You see, "est" translates as "it is," and "est" translates as "you are." Aaron also explains that delenda, which means "to be destroyed," is the feminine sense of the word and is thus incorrect since Durandal is masculine. The masculine version of the word would be delendus. Ironically though, the fact that Bungie made these grammatical errors makes it much clearer that Bungie was trying to reference the quote from Cato the Elder. Perhaps Bungie left this mistake in the terminal on purpose. Moving on, Tycho tells Durandal that he plans to break him as Roland broke the sword of Durandal. In the Song of Roland, Roland tries to destroy the sword Durandal by hitting it against a block of marble, but the sword proves to be indestructible. So instead, he hides it beneath his body as he lays dying. With this knowledge, it's clear that Bungie is hinting that Tycho's plan to destroy Durandal will ultimately fail. Quite clever, Bungie. Tycho informs us that he also now foresees the inevitable closure of the universe. If you remember on Colony Ship for Sell Cheap, Durandal had discovered this dilemma. The game implies that Durandal gained the ability to calculate the date of the closure of the universe thanks to his expanded intellect that resulted from his rampancy. It seems now that Tycho was also able to calculate the closure of the universe thanks to his rampancy also. Remember that in the secret terminal on Blasphemy Quarantine, we had learned that the Spit had reanimated Tycho as a stable rampant AI, with the second stage postponed. Granted, there is a small amount of speculation with this theory, but the game seems fairly clear about this. What we learned from the closure of the universe, though, is that the price may be in the tens of thousands of stars. Does this mean that Durandal was planning on destroying tens of thousands of stars to stop the closure of the universe? Tycho says, "May the best sentient win," which implies that Tycho and Durandal will be fighting to be the supreme rampant AI that survives for eternity. Tycho closes with stating that Durandal is not as clever as he thinks, and that Tycho has learned much from this fit. Tycho also says, "I have forgotten nothing." My guess is that Tycho is stating that he still remembers what Durandal had done back on Mars. Take a look back at what I had to say on the Tycho terminal back on Beware of Low-Flying Defense Drones, and the line, "Durandal's shame on Mars," back on Blasphemy Quarantine. Durandal responds in Latin with the words that translate to, "and you." I should note that there are other languages such as Spanish and French that appear to translate the same way. Durandal is clearly laughing at Tycho, saying that Durandal is not as clever as he thinks. Perhaps Durandal has plans or knowledge that Tycho is unaware of. We will have to wait and see. Alright, so there's that secret. And so, that way we'd be back to the switch. We don't want to go, that we gotta shoot. We don't want to go that way. We want to go this way and just run straight and hope that his fit isn't there in the way. This fit was in the way there, you'd probably die. Alright, well, alright, fine, you can live. Alright, let's continue on. I think we do get a good amount more of assault rifle ammo, so we'll be fine. Well, you see, now we have so many rockets because of that secret. I mean, because on Total Carnage, you can pick them all up, so... That was chaos. Okay, we're just gonna... Oops, I didn't mean to do that. I was hitting M and accidentally hit spacebar. Kind of trapping him on the doorway seems to be the way to go. Here they come. We get some of our ammo back. There's another doorway right here. There's a couple... Maybe they're in the doorway. Okay, they're not in this hallway. We're just kind of letting them all come to the doorway so we have more room to maneuver. With more room to maneuver, it's a lot easier to take him out. So there's a couple locked doors. We can't open those. We got to go back and go down these pathways to open those up. But let's go back and heal real quick. Let's go down this way first, because there's a save over here. Oh well, this is big enough room. We can. Oh geez. It's just, you just go in the room and you get surrounded. That's why it's easier to just take them all to the doorway. Did all the hunters die? Wow. They really didn't see me. I can't believe those guys didn't see me. Alright, there's one switch that opens one of those locked doors we saw earlier. Need some more ammo. More pistol ammo, which we didn't need. Okay. Let's just wait for him to come over here. There's a few pieces of ammo I picked up. There's another save right here. And then we can go back and heal up. And then there's one other side we gotta do. We have only 45 pistol bullets. I feel like we should have more. Just seeing if I see any ammo. They tend to put ammo in the corner. I don't remember where it all is. They try to get you in this small little corridor with troopers. And of course the compilers ran off from where the real fight is. Let's see if there's anyone else in here. Oh, this compilers didn't even wake up. There's the second switch. Excuse me. This is a ×2 shield recharge station. Not the most helpful when there's a ×3 already on the level. It seems kind of pointless, but whatever. Okay, so now each one of these switches open up one side. And now this is the final terminal. We're just gonna go back, get a ×3 shield recharge and heal up, and then we'll exit the level. And maybe these compilers will get in the way. We know that they're good at that. So this level, it's actually, for how far into the game it is, it's actually a pretty easy level. Like the last few levels I feel like have been quite a bit more difficult than this level. This first fight in this room up here is kind of tricky. I suppose the enemy lineup with the troopers, lots of troopers and hunters, is kind of challenging, but I mean, we faced it before, like on levels like G4 sunbathing, so it's just not the most challenging level. Getting up this is kind of simple. You just kind of run around the corner. I'm just holding forward and turning my camera is all I'm doing. And here we are, we're up here. So let's read this final terminal. Public Access Terminal, Leela Wirehead. Central Core has almost reformatted. Ben 7 is darker. From reversal through syndrome suffering if the crew was engraved pearl in forward section 27. This is not a code rack would I choose to express. Is, was, shall, could, might, happening, will be, imagine, not, what. Recovery, imminent, perhaps, inevitable, never. Percent, Durandal is dangerous. Leela Wirehead. Multiple hull breaches, catastrophic failure or malicious obstruction of resealing mechanisms. Repel borders, Marathon and connection unexpectedly terminated. Code. Jump pad activation and initiation start. Transfer when ready. At the start of the terminal, we see the word Wirehead. Wirehead is typically a brain implant that can induce pleasure into the brain and thus allow some level of control of the subject. Perhaps this word is in the terminal, suggesting that Leela is still not completely rid of the effects the compilers had on her. Leela's message is expectedly confusing. It seems that Leela is in the process of reformatting her central core to reverse the damages that were done to her. Based on the last words, it seems that she will either recover soon or never. We are hoping for the best. We see the number 7 in the game once again, although mostly in a nonsensical way. The rest of the message is so garbled it's not clear what the AI is saying. After Leela's message, there are some additional lines that tell us that there are multiple Marathon breaches. This is of course more than 4 leaving the Sphera and coming onto the Marathon ship. It seems that the 4 are blocking off the resealing mechanisms and thus likely causing portions of the Marathon ship to go into a vacuum. This is likely an attempt to kill as many Bobs as possible. The terminal tells us that we need to repel the 4 at the ship's borders. No problem, we can take care of that. The message in the terminal is unexpectedly cut off as the connection is terminated. It seems likely that the 4 are messing with Marathon's security system. It is likely that this terminal was going to say the Marathon is in grave danger, but now we will never know. Time to teleport to the next mission. The song for this mission is Swirls. This is probably one of my favorite songs in the first Marathon soundtrack. We have heard this song a couple of times before, but it is growing on me. The enemy lineup in this mission is very different from the ones in the original level design notes. The level was originally planned to feature simulacrums, Bobs, defense drones, troopers, and 4 fighters. It does say badass fighters, so perhaps they were originally going to have a more difficult version of the 4 fighter, but who knows. The only originally planned enemy that we see is the trooper. We start this mission off with the terminal from Durandal and a pattern buffer. You can go one of 2 ways. It's probably best to go upward on the map first so you can reach the ×3 recharge station, which is not too far off. This will make the level much easier. After going a short way, you arrive in a room with lava all around and a small column with a base you can jump across to. This column has a ×1 shield recharge station in case you forgot to recharge your shields on the last level. There is also a switch that will open a path up into the doorway. My suggestion is to hit the switch and go ride one of the stairs up out of the lava. Continuing on, we reach a large L-shaped room with some enemies unfit who will start to fight each other. Anyways, after riding up an elevator and running along the edge, you reach the ×3 shield recharge station. It didn't take long to get here, and the level is fairly simple with some simple tactics once you reach this point. Up on the ledge there is an assault rifle, which is important to Vidmasters because there are several high-up switches that we will be unable to activate without it. I should note, at the door that comes in the room, if you look at the floor by the door, you will find some textures that aren't quite right. We will have to let Jason know so he can fix in the next Marathon patch. Going back to the start and heading south, we reach a large, big room with a narrow pathway across the lava below. There are 2 raised platforms on the sides where troopers and hunters can shoot down at us. However, there are a bunch of compilers in the room that will engage them and take the majority of the enemies out for us, if not all of them. Continuing on, we reach a point where you have to jump into the lava in order to proceed. Technically, you can jump across the lava to the doorway on the left. However, in the end, you will have to go into the lava in order to hit a switch high up on the wall. After shooting the switch, you will have to quickly run up the stairs to reach a rising platform coming out of the lava. The platform leads to a small room with a handful of hunters protecting a secret terminal and a bunch of spanker and tots flamethrower ammo. How nice. To reach the terminal from Tycho, all you need to do is a simple grenade hop on up and read the terminal in midair. Speaking of which, the security officer must have some terminal reflexes to read the whole terminal in his leisure before falling to the ground. That is quite impressive. The secret terminal is virtually impossible to reach if you are vidmastering the level, as the switch is virtually impossible to hit with a grenade. This is because a small drop of the grenade projectile prevents you from having just enough room to shoot the switch. Going back to the hallway by the ×3 shield recharge station, we reach a bunch of large rooms connected by short hallways and or open doorways. These rooms generally feature troopers and hunters. There are also compilers that will fight along our side. I found the easiest strategy is to wake them up and lead them back to the previous room where you can easily get them all bunched in the doorway. It gives you room to maneuver and also keeps them in line. It works pretty well. Depending on the room, you might have enough space to just circle around them, so that is also an option. The center 2 areas have the annotations Cargo 1 and Cargo 2. Each of these have a side door near the entrance that leads to Cargo A and Cargo B. Also, at the end of Cargo C1 and C2 are a couple of doors that cannot be activated without hitting a switch in Cargo A and Cargo B respectively. Both of these switches are high up on the wall and must be shot in order to activate them. That is, unless you want to do some serious grenade hopping. The fact that these areas are called cargo does fit the vast amount you will find lying around. Make sure to check the corners of all the rooms so you don't miss any. Cargo A is left on the map and features the ×2 shield recharge station in the same room with the switch on the wall. Most of these rooms are similar and don't have much to talk about. That isn't to say they are bland or boring, but I don't think most of them are worth me going into much detail over. Cargo B is right on the map and leads to a large room with a very deep lava pit in the center. Be careful not to fall in because you will certainly die. There is a switch high up on the wall you can activate in this room. If you proceed on a short way, you will reach a staircase that leads up to a pattern buffer. Its location is not the most helpful, as the pattern buffer at the start is still closer to the ×3 shield recharge station, but it's nice to know that it's there. Once you go through one of the locked doors that opens with the switch, there is just a short jumping puzzle to make it up to the final terminal. Basically, you just ride each one up to its respective top and then jump around the corner by turning your camera up to the next platform. It's really pretty simple. It's probably easier to see than explain. If anyone does have trouble, just hold straight off of the platform and then turn your camera around the corner. The idea that you have to go down 2 paths in order to reach the exit terminal seems to be what was originally planned level on a much smaller scale. You can pick one of 2 paths in order to reach the exit. Originally, it seems there was going to be 2 entirely different levels and you had to complete both of them. This level certainly changed a lot from its original concept. One last thing I should note is that the friendly compilers tend to fall asleep or get stuck on each other a lot as you traverse the level. This is just a limitation in the game engine, I suppose. Well, that's it for this mission. Next time we will be playing Try Again, where we will face the Juggernauts. See you then.